What is up, guys? Happy Friday. Welcome to today's YouTube video as we continue our week and we talk more about branding. Now, before we get into today's topic, I want to clearly explain where this fits in the conversation we've had this week because this video is meant to kind of close that loop out. On Monday's YouTube video, we talked about why personal branding creates clients automatically, but we also talked about why realtors fail to build a personal brand. And we talked about why branding matters in the first place. We talked a little bit about different large companies and the branding they do. We'll talk about that a little more today. And we also talked about why so many realtors never actually build a brand. Today, I want to talk more about that as well. Now, in that video, I even referenced like the Lexus, BMW commercials where someone surprises their spouse with a brand new car in the driveway. That commercial has nothing to do with real estate, but it proves a huge branding lesson, and I want you to remember that as we go through today's video. On Wednesday's podcast, we talked about how personal branding helps you create clients and you don't have to cold call, you don't have to door knock, you don't have to chase leads. We went deeper into how your brand presence replaces pressure and feels a lot easier over time, and it just builds trust long before transactions happen. Today's video is about that multiplier. Today, we are talking about why consistency is what makes personal branding actually work. We've been talking about this really for a while. We've talked about my whole journey since September here on the YouTube channel. Why I chose social media, why it's important, why using a personal page over a business page, and then getting into your avatar and your buckets, and then this week talking about your personal brand. Now, we did discuss this briefly Monday, but quickly throwing it back, most realtors just think their content doesn't work because of the algorithm. Oh, the algorithm hates me, my views dropped, my reach is down. But the truth is, the algorithm does not kill your business. It actually just shows you, it kind of reveals, sort of like the Emperor's New Clothes, the algorithm just reveals who you actually are already. It doesn't kill your business. Your inconsistency kills your business. Brands do not win because they beat an algorithm or spend more money. Brands win because people remember them. Think about the examples we talked about on Monday, right? The Lexus car commercial, the BMW. Every single year, Lexus runs that same exact commercial. Think about these three things, right? The same emotion, the same story, the same feeling. If I go to your social media page, what emotion are you showing? What story are you telling? What feeling do I get after I leave your page learning about your business? Usually, none for so many of you realtors out there that are struggling. And you know about Lexus before you see the logo. You know about BMW before you see the logo. You know about what the Apple stands for. You know what the little target is or the W. You know, branding's so interesting too because, I mean, even Dunkin' Donuts, they don't even call themselves Dunkin' Donuts anymore, guys, right? It's just Dunkin'. What do you guys know? You know, when you see a Dunkin' sign, they have coffee. Some of you love it, some of you hate it, and they have donuts. So, those kinds of things, that's not luck. That's not guessing or algorithm. That is consistency. The fact that Dunkin' Donuts can even say, oh, we're going to take out donuts from our name and just make it simple is because they've put Dunkin' Donuts or Dunkin', I guess, now in front of you for so long that you know the orange and pink colors. That is not luck. That is brand consistency, right? So Dunkin' doesn't change things every single year. You know exactly what you're getting. Think about other brands as well, and we've talked about some of them earlier this week. Starbucks doesn't reinvent themselves each time social media changes. They do the same thing. Guess what? Do you know why I love Starbucks? I'm not a coffee drinker. Do you know why I love it? Because I can go in there, I can get work done for a few hours, I can get a coffee or tea, and they have unlimited refills. Now I just spend $5 on that coffee or tea. So I guess joke's on me, but they sell it as, hey, come buy a coffee or tea for $5 and we're going to give you unlimited free refills, right? Sounds like a deal when they say it that way. Doesn't sound like a deal. You know, imagine if they said, oh, coffee or tea's 75 cents, but you have to pay for refills. Well, I'd rather get the points on my Starbucks account, and that's a whole nother thing with branding, and get those points and sit there and get unlimited free refills, right? We pay for them. Of course, we pay for them. Think of those of you with like credit cards for hotels or flights. You pay for those points. You think they're free, but you pay for them and they know that, right? You know, Apple doesn't rely on hacks or trends. They have the product every single year, almost the same phone, right? Apple actually is very interesting because you could research this. They intentionally, with their branding, have the box open slowly. They want, when you order that new iPhone 17, whatever, they want you to have suspense opening up the box. Pretty crazy, right? They have done research on that. Nike has repeated itself with the same core message for decades. What is it, guys? Three words. What does Nike want you to do? Just what? Just do it, right? Same thing every single year. But when I say just, if I say to you, just do it, you know that it's Nike. None of these brands panic when platforms changes because their audience already knows them. The Dunkin', the Dunkin' thing is so interesting, right? That they can drop donuts and you still know what it is. That's what branding does. Now let's bring it back to real estate. The agent who wins are not the ones that choose trends, hooks, certain reels, or algorithms. They are the ones that show up consistently the same way for years. Same message, same tone, same values. So when someone thinks, I need a realtor, your name comes to mind. Not because of one video, not because of one post, but because you were there consistently. I have an Apple phone. I love my iPhone, guys, okay? Why do I buy the same phone every single year? Because I like the consistency. I don't really want to hear you Android people telling me, oh, we had that technology 5 years ago. I don't care. I like that I can get a message on my iPad here, my phone, my watch, my computer. I like that it's all the same thing. I like the consistency. I like that I can text you on this device. It can show up on my iPad or my computer. I can sit down and record podcasts, respond to a few texts over here. They go right to my phone and it all syncs. I don't care that your Android or Windows can do that. I don't care. I like the consistency and the branding and all of it together with my Apple device. So the algorithms reward consistency. Why? Not just because of the number, because people respond to consistency, okay? People don't stop trusting Apple because Facebook changes or TikTok changes. They trust the device. I love the Apple Android debate because you will never convince me, never, to go buy an Android. I'm too locked in. I'm too locked in, and I'm sure we'll talk about that at some point. I am too locked in. So when your people on your online, on your in your social media presence are locked in with you, they are not going anywhere. Okay? Even if the algorithm changes tomorrow, trust does not disappear. People don't stop trusting Apple because something changes. People don't stop trusting Lexus because something changes. Consistency outlives platforms. That's why chasing algorithms keeps realtors frustrated, like so many of you, and building a personal brand sets them free. So here's what I want you guys to think about from this video and take away. Not like, oh, Lexus or BMW or Tesla or Starbucks or Apple or whatever. I want you to stop saying, what should I post to beat the algorithm? And I want you to start asking yourself, how can I show up consistently so people remember me and I create a personal brand? I got to be honest too. You might have to post less. And I know I'm the guy that tells you to post every single day. I would much rather you go deeper with the people that you have. If you told me, right, if I was locked in a room and you wouldn't let me out till I answered, and you said, John, I can either post 3 times a week and it's great quality content building my brand, or I can post 7 pieces of garbage that I threw together with AI. And no offense to you that use AI, I use it for certain things, but I don't let it replace me, right? I would say instead of 7 posts that are a 3 out of 10, I want 2 or 3 posts that are a 10 out of 10. Okay. Better content and then being consistent with better content and building your brand that way, right? So post less if you need to, simplify your message, build your brand, and then keep repeating that process. Guys, here's the deal. Consistency can feel boring. Guys, it feels so boring. Some of you are like, "Oh, I just want to go through for the risk. I want to go for the home runs." That's fine and good, and I love baseball's references too, but sometimes you strike out. Okay? I would much rather you build your brand consistency, build a personal brand, and that's how you will build success. So, let's recap real quick as you get out of here and enjoy your weekend. Let's recap this whole week, okay? On Monday, we talked about why personal branding creates clients automatically with what you're building, and they know, like, and trust you. On Wednesday on the podcast, we talked about how branding can replace cold calling and chasing leads. And today, through some more brand examples, you saw why consistency beats every algorithm and why consistently building your brand will help you create success. So, if you want your business to feel easier here in 2026, stop chasing platforms, stop chasing leads, stop being like a squirrel and chasing every single thing, and just build a personal brand. I appreciate you guys so much. Have an awesome weekend. Make sure you're subscribed here to see 2 videos a week. And make sure you subscribe to the podcast to hear that Wednesday podcast episode. I appreciate you guys so much. Thanks for watching, and I will talk to you guys next week.